Yo, welcome back. Another episode of History of the Future podcast. I want to thank Shay for coming through last time. And it's kind of funny. We were on the topic of financial literacy. And oddly enough, we got one of the mainstays in financial literacy on the couch today. So let me just do a quick intro for this gentleman I have here. So today's guest is someone who's redefining what it means to be financially free. He's a best-selling author, a dynamic speaker, wealth mindset coach, and one of the most trusted voices in financial literacy. From banking exec to full-time financial educator, he's on a mission to close the wealth gap and empower communities and build generational wealth. You may know him from his books, his powerful podcasts, Inside the Vault, or his viral clips that you might see on social media. So sit back, get ready to take notes, and shift your mindset, man. We're going to tap into this abundance, man. Let's welcome, my guest, Ash Cash.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, man, yeah, man. This is a big moment for me, man. I had to, you see me, I'm a little different. I put a little,
I got the
you
plates
know what I'm
off.
saying? I had to throw this on, man. It's a little
sir.
different energy, man.
Yes, sir.
So I'm glad to have you, man.
Yes, sir.
This, for audience members who don't know, how this kind of came about, we both go to the same gym.
Yep.
And I see these dudes, some of the fellas, some of the other people you may know, they're hooping every, during the week or what have you, early in the morning. I go early in the morning and do my workout, whatever. And I see these, I approach Ash Cash. I'm like, yo, man, I really like your content, man. He's like, yo, appreciate it. And I think later I asked him, like, yo, we need to have a conversation. So he's like, yeah, for sure. Super forthcoming. And it was just like so hard to try to meet up. As you could see, man, he's a busy man. Yeah. But, a man of his word, he came through, blessed my platform, man. And I'm super appreciative.
Yes,
man.
sir. No, it's my pleasure. Like, I think one of the things that I think people don't realize is that we all are on the same journey, right? We're all on the same journey. Some of us get to that place that we want to get to sooner.
Yep.
And unfortunately, some people forget that we're all on the same journey. And so for me, I just, I love connecting. I love talking to people. I love always keeping the mission first.
Yeah.
And again, just being somebody who, regardless of where I may sit, if you will, in this space, somebody who's always, reaching back to the people, because it's the people who make you. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree, man. For the people who don't know you or aren't aware of you, how would you describe yourself? Like, who are you?
Yeah, I am Ash Cash, the financial motivator.
Okay.
I am I'm a kid from Harlem, first and fourest, Harlem, NYC.
Harlem? What part? What Harlem?
Huntsville, Navy 8. So I grew up in the project, St. Nick.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm a St. Nick guy. You know what I mean? So I'm kid from the projects, who was lucky enough or blessed enough to not become a product of my environment.
Yeah.
And I became a banker. So I'm always been a hustler, home of a hustler. So I've always hustled.
Yeah.
But became a banker. Later on, realized that in the words of Sean Carter, there's much bigger issues in the world I know, but I first have to take care of the world I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I had to go back and say, now that I'm a banker, now that I'm, managing money for multimillionaires, let's not forget where you come from, and how can I reach back to help those who look like me, who come from where I come from, create financial freedom. And so now I'm just a financial educator.
Okay.
I just educate people on how money works, and the true meaning of abundance, right? Because I always, like, my jacket say abundance is your birthright. If you see me, see me in the gym, I always get the blue shirt to say abundance is your birthright.
Yep.
So that's my mission, is to let people know that abundance is their birthright. They can be, do, and have anything they desire, as long as they have awareness of it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I do. You know what I mean? And I do it through different ways, right? Books,
Yeah.
podcasts,
Yeah.
speaking.
Yeah.
But all of it goes back to just educating my community about the abundance that's their birthright.
Word. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super heavy, man. So, I mean, you talked a little bit about you growing up in Harlem, St. Nick, in 8th. What you saying abundance is your birthright? You say you grew up in a project.
Yeah.
So how do you get from the projects, you know what I'm saying, to abundance?
Yeah.
If it's your birthright, why aren't we born into
For sure.
our quote unquote kingship or whatever the case.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think a lot of what people don't realize is that when I say abundance is your birthright, you get to choose the level of abundance, right? You could choose an abundance of abundance, or you could choose an abundance of lack.
Okay.
And so, right? And so a lot of people who live in low income areas, they have accepted their lack. And they play that lack over and over and over in their head, and that's why they remain there. But there's some people who look at that lack and say, this is not what it's supposed to be. And then they create, this financial abundance. And so for me, I 8 years old, I was packing bags at the local supermarket. I was selling mixtapes and T-shirts on 125th Street. I was up there, 125. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Now before the Nigerians, so people don't realize the Nigerians came after.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So what happened was in the early 90s, I don't know if 125th Street what it's like in the 80s.
Hold on. How old are you?
So I'm 44.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm 44. So I grew up in the 90s.
Yep.
So I'm a 90s baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so in the 90s, it was the regular street hustlers who ran 125th Street.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And then when Giuliani moved us all to 116th Street, that's when the Africans started to come in. You know what I'm saying? And then some of them came back to 125th Street or whatever. But prior to that, it was a street game. You know what I'm saying?
Word, okay.
And so I was able to pack bags. I was able to sell mixtapes, T-shirts. And you know what I'm saying? So for me, I always knew that there was more. And I just started to create whatever that more looked like until we got to where I'm at right now. But another way to answer your question also is that regardless of what your religion is, whether you Christian, Muslim, if you don't have a religion and you just believe in a higher power, all of the sacred scriptures say that we are made in the image and likeness of God, right? And so when you think about that image, right, of God, you can't see God. So when you talk about this image of God, what is this image they talk about? It's not really a visual image, right? Because image is the root word in what? Imagination. And so when you say you're made in the image and likeness of God, what you're saying is you have the same imagination as God. And so if God could just create, then guess what you could do? You could just create
for sure
with your image, with your imagination. And so what's the best way to prove God? The best way to prove God is to see something that isn't and create something that is. And so to your point of like, why aren't we all born with what we desire is because the goal of our life is to prove God. And how else can you prove God if you were given everything? Right? So now we come into this existence and we all got our different journeys, and the goal is to create with our imagination so we can help other people in their journeys.
For sure. That was heavy. That was super heavy. Nah, I definitely agree, man. I was watching some of your content, right? I think you were doing a motivational speaking. It was a speaking engagement, sorry. And you talked about you were kicked out of school multiple times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
1st grade, 5th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. 10th grade, I got expelled.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you're where you are now, but you were going against these hurdles in your come up, in your formative years.
For sure.
So what? Just explain what that experience is like.
So I was angry. You know what I'm saying? So I was raised in a single parent home, right? So I'm the youngest of 3 that my mom had, right? So I have 8. It's 8 of us in total. My father had 7 kids. You know what I'm saying? My mom had 3, right? And 2 of them. You know what I mean? So it's 8 of us in total. But in my household, it was 3 of us, right? I'm the youngest of the 3. My dad wasn't around. My dad left, right? And so now for me, and I don't think my mother meant any harm by telling me this, but I would always, she would always tell me like, oh, your dad didn't want you here. You're supposed to be aborted and things of that nature. So in my mind, I'm angry. You know what I'm saying? I'm angry. And I took the anger out, you know what I'm saying, in school. You know what I'm saying? And part of it I was a fighter, so I fought a lot. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And so in first grade, I got kicked out for fighting.
Okay.
And you got to think about it, I got 2 kids now, 17
Yeah.
and 10.
Yep.
I can't imagine my son at 6 years old
Going
fighting
crazy. Yeah.
to the point where he get kicked out of school. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yep.
there was a level of anger there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, 5th grade.
Yep.
You got kicked out for fighting. 9th grade got kicked out for fighting. 10th grade I got expelled. So the 10th grade wasn't my fault though. The 10th grade, I wound up going to my zone school, Brandeis. And you got to think, like I said, this is like 93, 94,
Yep.
where gangs started. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
So we got the
yep.
Bloods
Yeah,
in New
yep.
York. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
So this is that time.
Yep.
I wasn't affiliated with the Bloods at all, but a lot of them were from my neighborhood. And so every now and then, you know what I mean? You might see me with a bunch of Bloods, but I wasn't a Blood. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think, they wound up getting into something. I wound up getting caught in the hallway.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I got lumped into something that I ain't had nothing to do with. You get what I'm saying? And
Uh-huh.
so I got expelled. And I had to do the 10th grade over again. Went to
Yeah.
Martin Luther King High School. And at that point, I was like, all right, let me get my stuff together. And so I think it was more so, just kind of conforming to what my environment was like.
Okay.
The truth also is that a lot of my fighting comes from defending people. Right.
Okay.
And so, I'm a big Jay fan, so you might hear me quote Jay a whole bunch of times,
Harlem
right?
be quoting Jay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be quoting Jay a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
And Jay once said, you know what I'm saying, you could try to change, but that's just the top layer, right?
Yeah,
Fam, you
that's
was
the
who you
top-
was
before
when
you
you got
got
here,
here.
right? And I believe, like, my soul is a protector, right?
Okay.
That's my soul. My soul is a protector. My
Yeah.
soul always likes to see people do better.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you older than me, younger than me, it don't matter. Like, I'm always trying to help people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that, again, even as a child, when I was fighting, I used to fight against the bullies. Like, I used to watch bullies pick on people, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, yo, why you don't pick on me?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
bully
saying?
the
And I get
bullies.
myself in that trouble.
Yeah.
Why do I bring that up? Because fast forward, I do it to this day. You know what I'm saying? When I help build brands, I'm looking at the brand and I'm like, I know you got more in you,
Yeah.
but why the internet treating you like you're not that guy? Why the internet acting like you don't got something special?
Yeah.
And so for me, my goal is always to help amplify voices, even with my podcast, Inside the Vault.
Yep.
Yo, if I promise you, and you don't gotta take my word for it, go back 2 years and look at the people who had no name. I'm talking about nobody knew them.
Yeah.
Look at who interviewed them first.
Yep.
And then now, fast forward, look up some of these same guys and look at where they are right now and ask yourself, like, I'm not taking full credit because they had the dog in them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who was gonna open the door? Who was gonna who had the biggest platform
Yeah.
and didn't make them beg and plead to get on the platform, but say, yo, I see some menu. Let me
Yeah.
help amplify your voice. And so even to this day, man, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm blessed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I use my voice, I use my likeness, I use my influence
Yeah.
to help amplify voices and help people get to the next level in their life.
Solid.
Yeah.
So you come up in a big family. Are your parents from the States?
No, so my parents are Haitian.
There we go.
Yeah. My
Fighting.
parents
We
are
gonna
Haitian.
get to
No,
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my
Yeah.
mom and dad both from Haiti.
Uh-huh.
I was born here. So
Yeah.
so three of my my brothers and sisters we were born here.
Okay.
And then the other 5 were born in Haiti. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Zoe. Okay. Now salute. I'm a first generation too. You see my flags over there in the corner.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
If
My
you know,
pops
you know.
is Lucian. My mom's Jamaican.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
Wagwan.
understand.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, I could understand, and
Yeah.
I feel like, even with your parents probably being from somewhere else,
Yeah.
that perspective kind of changes in the household a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know what it was like. Let me think. Harlem in the '90s was
Yeah.
probably super eclectic.
Yeah,
but still, you go to school.
but it's still crack though.
Yeah,
It's majority crack. It's
Yup.
majority abandoned buildings.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crack. Crack took over. But I lived in Harlem all my life.
Yeah.
I moved to the projects in '88.
Okay.
Right, so I'm 7. Right, in '88 I'm 7. So
Yeah.
I moved in the projects in '88 at 7 years old.
Yeah.
And that's almost like the height of
Everything.
everything.
Moving around.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk through the hallways, crack vials everywhere.
Yeah.
One thing I think saved me, my mom was super religious though.
Okay.
So my mom was a Christian. And so she went to church during the week. She went on Sunday. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? And so I think that helped because you know, she would pray for me a lot. My sister and I would, I mean, unfortunately, or fortunately, because it helped us in the long term. We ran the street early though. You know what I'm saying? So by 8 years old, my sister's 2 years older than me. By 10, you know what I mean, we do what we want. We go to school. You know, we go to school together. We taking the bus by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom going to work to take. You know what I mean? She barely speak English. She work at a factory job. So there is no discipline at home per se. The streets really are raising us. You know what I'm saying? But the blessing in that, and this is why I say it was a blessing. The blessing in that was I got a lot of stuff out my system early. Right? I broke my virginity. I was 11 years old. 11, bro. 11. And the girl was the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? How old was
she though?
She was 12.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 16. No.
Okay. She was 12. Yeah. She was 12. I was 11. It was to the point where we lived in the same building. It was to the point where she would come to my house with a sundress on, no panties and all that.
At 12?
At 12, bro. At 12. And it was one of those situations where like she would look at me like I'm crazy, like, yo, fam, like what you doing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I broke my virginity at 11. Saw my first dead body at 12, meaning like there was shootouts and you know what I'm saying? And again, we weren't you know, hindsight, we weren't that smart. Yeah. We'll see a shootout and we'll run towards the shoot like fam, what are you doing? But we ran towards the shootout, and so you know I remember seeing my first dead body in the big park, just looking like that's crazy. So I say all that to say, I got so much stuff out my system. By the time I'm 17, I think people in the hood living dog years. By the time I was 17, bro, I felt like I was in my 30s. Yeah, you was
38.
I was 38, man. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And so that's why I say it's a blessing though, because I'm not fascinated by nothing. Street life don't fascinate me, bro.
It's not like you're a suburban kid who's trying to, you know, fantasize about the streets and hip hop and all that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why, you know, fast forward, I got my first job at 17 working at Blockbuster Videos. Rest in peace, Blockbuster Videos.
Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I worked there for about 2 years, and then I got my first banking job at Chase Bank at 19. Okay. Again, I'm already like, all right, I'm old now. Like, I got to, you know what I'm saying? At 19, I felt old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're 47.
But it blessed me. You know what I'm saying? It blessed me tremendously.
Yo, man. That's so crazy, man. So, a little backtrack, just talk about me a little bit. I'm from Connecticut originally. You know what I'm saying? I was born in 89. I ended up moving to New York in 2007 for college. I went to Fordham. I was in the Bronx.
Okay, I know Fordham. Yeah. So you smart though.
Yo,
hold on, though. Let's not go past that. Let's not go past that.
I always was a great student. You know what I'm saying? I always an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I went on an athletic scholarship playing football. Shout out to the homies that I play with, my teammates that are doing, you know, really well right now. And that was like a crash course in the New York period.
For sure.
Like if you've been to the Bronx, you've been to Fordham Road.
Yo, Fordham Road is his own.
Yeah, it's his own
universe.
Yeah, it's like the Bronx Zoo at the end, and it's telling when you walk up the road. But the thing is, Fordham University is like in the gates. It's like you know, it's like you're in Westchester.
Yeah, facts.
Something completely different. Yeah. But upon coming to college, you know, you think you've grown. You know, I've been doing this, doing that, third. You smack dab in the middle. Boom. We partying, we winning games, we drinking, but we like once you step out the gates, you in the street, straight up. 187, 189, Crotona, all that, you know, 3rd Avenue, all that stuff. And then that's when I started to realize like New Yorkers grow up different than everybody. Like not for nothing. I wasn't sheltered, but New York is like the other level of that. So I remember just being out, you know, we be on the train, we going to the city, or we going out at the time, catching the cab, or whatever the case with taxis and the gypsy cabs and all that. And seeing kids outside. Like seeing kids outside, bro. Like these kids is 6 and 7 years old. They in packs, chilling, doing their own thing, probably hustling, doing whatever. And it kind of changed my perspective of what growing up really looks like. And just a quick segue, my first job outside of school, I worked off Wall Street. So I worked for this financial firm, insurance brokerage, right off Wall Street. I do marketing by day. And I remember just going to work every day. I hated my job, bro. It was like super gray. I was bored, like all that stuff. But it's like you suck it up. I remember taking the 4 train. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, taking the 4 train to work every day. And I used to see these kids on the subway all the time. And, they be going to school. I would be dressed up. I would have my suit on. I was super clean. I didn't have nothing. I was clean cut, waves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like Nas even back in the day. But
yeah.
I remember just seeing these kids, man. I used to feel so unauthentic. And I used to feel like, damn, man, I'm sending these kids the wrong message, because it was like, I felt like I was performing in order to be successful, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
And I felt like I was in misalignment with who I was and what I was portraying.
For sure.
And I seen like young black kids, like, young men, you know what I'm saying, looking at me like, oh, this is what you got to do in order to make it.
Correct.
And once that thing hit, I changed everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I started to grow my hair out. I think it was slowly like in rebellion. I looked like The Weeknd.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I left that job. I went to another job. And it was just like, it's so interesting how things kind of align.
Yeah.
So when you talk about being a child and, coming up, I could kind of see it. And I seen it kind of, not firsthand because I wasn't a child, but I was like in my formative years.
Yeah.
But I seen kids really doing that. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
I've seen kids come up on the block when I was in school, 4 years.
Yeah.
Come from being in middle school to being in high school to getting killed because they was hustling.
For sure.
And they was next door. They lived next door.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
and it's crazy that you say that, because my wife and I have this conversation all the time about like manifesting, right?
Yeah.
And even though we live a great life, right? Like we live really, really great life.
Yeah.
But our experiences are different, right? Like 2 people who are living in the same life. Like I've been with my wife 21 years. But when I talk about my experience, it's like it's the best experience ever. And when she speaks about her experience, you would think we broke. Like you would think like we don't live in the most expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Zip code in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, she was able to dream, right? So she grew up in Brooklyn, but she was able to dream, and so in her mind, she had a vision of what success looks like. For me, they told me I was going to be dead or in jail by 21.
So everything is a win.
So everything is a win.
Ooh, okay.
Everything is a win. When I turned 25, I won.
Yeah.
When I got when I was a banker, I got promoted to vice president. I won. Okay. When I was a branch manager, I won. Yeah. When I was a CEO of a credit union, I won. When I wrote my first book, I won. Yeah. When I became a bestseller, I've written 20 books.
Okay.
So I'm like, so now, right? So far ahead of my time, I'm about to start another life. Look around, I'm about to pass you twice. Back to the Future got a slow for the present. I'm fast. They can't get past my past. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, like every time I do something new, I'm starting a different life. You get what I'm saying? Compared to somebody who has been able to dream, and they're still looking for that dream. And so I don't want nobody to miss this message. My message to everybody is, wherever you start at, never look at your situation and think that you're not where you're supposed to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like don't look at adversity as a way of, oh my God, I've been through this adversity, and where am I gonna go, or what have I done? Look at where you are, look at what you've done, and celebrate every space, every step of the way. Yeah. You gotta celebrate.
You gotta celebrate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's heavy, bro. I never thought about it. Like, it's your perspective that determines how you kind of see the situation you're in. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, if you're giving a lot, now if it's anything less, you're looking like, damn, I'm losing.
Facts, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember listening to Gary Vee, and Gary Vee was talking about how most of his millionaire friends are depressed, right? Because a lot of them grew up with money. Yeah. They were given everything. Yep. And so that level of respect, they don't get respect. Right. And so now that money becomes a prison, because now they, that's Bill Gates' kid, or that's such and such kid, or that's such and such. And so now this level of, you can't even really enjoy life because there's no real struggle. There's no, all of your accomplishments are going to seem like it's because of nepotism. You get what I'm saying? So again, it's all about perspective. Like, what type of perspective are you having about life? And are you going to use that perspective to keep you in prison, or are you going to allow it to free you? You know what I'm saying?
For sure. For sure. So you said you started at a bank at 19.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's fresh out of high school.
Yeah, fresh out of high school. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you worked in the bank until what age?
So, off and on. So, I was at the bank 4 years.
Yep.
Then I left the bank because my guys they wanted to do music, and so
Okay.
I was the business savvy guy. So I
Yep.
left the bank so I could be their business manager, if you will.
Okay.
Stayed out the bank for like 2 years. Got back in, and I want to say so we got to talk 06. So I stayed back in probably another like 9 years. And then yeah, no. So probably another 11 years, because 9 years back at Chase, and then I like a year and a half I was a CEO of a credit union. So I left once and then stayed for another 9 or so years, and then I retired fully.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was.
So how many years total was that?
15.
15
Yeah,
years.
I did 15 years. Yeah.
And you didn't go to college.
So, I have my associate's degree. I went to BMCC. I went to
Okay.
Birmingham Community College.
Salute.
So I got my associate's degree. While I was working at Chase, I got my associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a degree. That was it.
Yeah.
Until 2015.
Okay.
So I actually got my bachelor's degree from Baruch.
Nice.
Zicklin School of Business.
Yeah.
So I got a degree in entrepreneurship.
Nice.
So and by that time I had already made money.
Yeah,
you know what
but
I'm
you
saying?
was
So
already like.
Yeah. I was already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
okay.
I had already. I was a CEO of a credit union.
Yeah.
Like I already established. The funny thing about it was the only reason I got the degree was because I was trying to get my CFP license, my Certified Financial Planner's license.
Okay.
And a bachelor's degree was a requirement. So that's why I went back and got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got it later on.
So you did school the real way.
Right.
You found out what you had to apply it for, and you
Sure.
went for it versus
Absolutely.
going to school and then trying to figure out what you like
Afterwards.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
See, that's a little. It works out.
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
Is your voice hoarse from gargling scalding hot macchiatos and then belting out oppression on every street corner? Are your feet swollen from having to march along the gentrified streets of America on behalf of the mistreatment of your melanated brethren? Are your hands too fatigued to give a neighborly wave to your fellow hoodmates due to exhaustion from joining arms in solidarity for the BLM movement? Well, look no further. Commemorate your tumultuous year with the exclusive All-White Black Lives Matter 2020 Tour tee. The All-White Black Lives Matter Tour has gone from city to city, state to state, even country to country, spreading their messages of solitude, uniformity, and anti-oppression. Take a piece of this historical moment so you can remember it forever. Some rules and regulations may still apply. We are not responsible for sudden laughter, scrutiny, excessive questioning, awkward stares, or even subtle acts of violence that may happen when you challenge the pathetic flow of society by wearing this shirt. Please proceed with caution. Make sure to consult your closest friend, family member, or significant other who has some sense to confirm that you're even built like that to wear such a godly creation.
And you said you retired from banking.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think with information comes the realization that you can do all of this for yourself. And so
what you mean by that?
So as a branch manager, as a CEO, I had the highest access to P&Ls, profits and loss.
Yep.
I knew what I was really worth, right? I knew like when my bankers were coming in and they were selling these mortgages and they were opening up these bank accounts and they were bringing in money. From a P&L perspective, every quarter we were making millions of dollars every quarter.
Okay.
But when I look at the bonus structure and I was like, yo, we're not even getting a percentage of that. And so for me, I'm saying even if I'm getting six figures, I'm literally like with my mindset, I'm generating millions of dollars. Yeah. And so in my mind, again, I'm delusional. You know what I'm saying? So in my delusional mind, I say, yo, if I could do millions of dollars for them, I know I could do that for myself.
Okay.
And that was really the reason. I was just like, all right, the same way, they give me these goals and I figure it out for them. Let me give myself these goals and let me figure it out for myself. And so that was really the reason to really get that freedom, especially because when I'm working 60 and 80 hours, I got migraines. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what is this worth at the end of the day? Because I can't pass this down. Like, this money is not really worth it. At the end of the day, everything I build right now, it's gonna live with me forever. You know what I'm saying? Like we all gonna die. When God called me back home, I got 20 books. If my kids and my wife, smart enough, let's repackage these things.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you know what I mean? Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich 84 years ago.
Yeah.
He died over 50 years ago.
Mad volume.
Right now, y'all go right now to Amazon and look up Napoleon Hill book. It's a bestseller today.
Crazy. I got it downstairs.
Right now.
Yep.
And so for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna, exchange my time for money. That's the biggest lesson, right? Financial literacy.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Do not exchange your time for money. Do not work hard for money.
Yep.
Money needs to work hard for you.
Yeah.
And so how do you make money work hard for you? Create assets that can pay you even when you sleep.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said, I can't, at the end of the day, if I reach all my goals at the bank, guess what? I got to do it over again.
You gotta still be there.
I still got to be there in order to make money, right? At the end of the day, I've written 20 books. If I do nothing else, I know I'm still going to get a check at the end of every month.
Smart, man.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, that brings me to a kind of another point, right? You're a rap head, so I found this lyric from Nipsey Hussle. Salute Nipsey Hussle, salute the marathon. Right, and this lyric always stood out to me, right? And I just want to get what your take is on this and how to kind of like, I guess, overcome. Just what your take is. We'll start there.
Yep.
All right. So he said, "This a real nigga celebration. This a dime block declaration." He said, "This the remedy for separation. I'm Tupac of my generation. Blue pill in the fucking matrix. Red rose in the grave pavement. Young black nigga trapped and he can't change it. He know he a genius, he just can't claim it. Cause they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, he just get faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't fade him. How long should I stay dedicated? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think about that lyric?
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
So first and foremost, go to Amazon.com, Hustlenomics. I got a whole book on Nipsey. I got a whole book.
That word? Okay.
I got a whole book called Hustlenomics.
I'm gonna go buy that right now.
I got a whole book on Amazon called Hustlenomics, and I actually break down a lot of his lyrics. And when he talks about vertical integration and teach you business and all that, so I do that. So in dedication, hard work, right? So he's really he's showing the dichotomy of being a black person in America who's trying to be successful, who because of the way the system is set up, because of the crab in a barrel mentality, you can't even claim you can't even claim your genius, because by claiming your genius, what you're automatically doing is putting a target on your back. You are letting people look at you and say the audacity of this guy to think that he's better than us because the system has told us that we are nothing, that we ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And so now he's saying, yo, like that's the truth. That's the truth of what with the hand that we've been given. But regardless of that, in order to move past it, you have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated to success. You have to be dedicated to your hard work. You have to be dedicated to getting past the noise, even at the moment where you're getting all this hate. People you love, people you think that's supposed to be rooting for you are now against you, but you still got to be dedicated to the mission, to the purpose, to get to that next level, because that's what it takes.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Salute Nipsey. You know what I mean? I love everybody that's. I used to so I feel like hip hop it changed so much. Because I feel like there used to be so many people that was giving game.
1000%.
Just you from Harlem, so you know 5% Nation, all that was in the
Peace
in the
God.
lyrics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Peace
Yes,
God,
sir.
all
Yes,
that.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? Today's math and all that, but now it's like a little skewed. All right.
I think it's purposely done. Obviously, purposely done.
Of course.
Because and these are not conspiracy theories, right? Think about I think somebody was telling me a story about like King Von or whatever. Rest in peace, King Von. They were talking about the insurance policy that they had on them. You know what I'm saying? And so, they signed him, right, knowing that he's really active in the streets. Like, they know this. I'm talking about the labels. The labels know. They do their research. They know he's really active in the streets, right? And so, because of what's called key man insurance, right, it's legal for your employer to take out an insurance policy on your life. It's legal. There's nothing illegal about it, right?
Isn't that's like corporate standard as
Correct.
well.
Corporate standard.
Yeah. So, listen, y'all got jobs.
You know what I'm saying?
Your job has an insurance policy on
your life.
Your human capital.
Your human capital. So if you die, they get money because you died, and now they can hire someone else to do your job again.
And collect.
Right? So same thing. Think about King Von, right? King Von, so now they sign him to this deal. They have a life insurance policy on him. He makes this music, right, that is talking about drills and destructive to our community, right? They make money from his music. His
catalog.
He dies. They collect life insurance for that and still own his catalog and still making money off the catalog, right? And so there is a financial vested benefit incentive to the labels to sign and push destructive music.
For sure.
Right? And so I think it's by design.
Of course.
There are rappers and there is music out there that is not destructive, but you're not going to be able to find them because the energy and the money and the promotion that goes into pushing up the destruct. Think about it. Sexy Red is not signed to a major label.
I thought she was signed to Gamma.
Yeah, Gamma, right?
Yeah.
She's not signed to them. She has a distribution deal with them.
Okay.
Right? And so what does that mean? You got $1 billion behind an independent label pushing her up.
Never
Why?
happens. Yeah. That would never happen.
Never happen.
Yep.
Right? Why? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it as if I know Sexy Red represents a part of our culture.
Yeah, demographic.
Right? So it's not like that doesn't exist. I'm not knocking it.
Yep.
But don't push it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't make this the norm. I got a 60-year-old daughter. Right? Don't make that the norm.
Yeah.
Don't overshadow all of the other
positive,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To push up this one narrative
Yep.
that millions of people now and here's the detrimental part of it though too, is that now it puts the label on us when we go out the country.
Bro, I was just gonna say that. Just quick aside, I was working for this company, and the company was based in Sweden, Stockholm. I went to Stockholm for 2 weeks to train and what have you. You know, I don't know nobody in Stockholm. I just got hired to the company. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm just doing my little marketing. So I go and, adventure out into Stockholm, just see what's going on. Stockholm, salute. If y'all could get a chance, go to Stockholm. It's dope. Super fly. People fly. Everything is like super healthy, like healthy lifestyle and stuff. So I pull up. I can't read none of the signs, bro. I don't know what food is what. I did little to no research on nothing.
Yeah.
So boom, I see a spot, Fridays. I'm like, I ate at Fridays before.
Yeah.
I go to Fridays. I see some women there. And, I was living in New York, started talking to them. You know what I'm saying? They was from, Eritrea or Ethiopia. They was from East Africa somewhere. And we started talking. They was like, oh, you from America? New York? I just kept talking. They was like, oh, we love Bad Girls Club. We love how they act. It's just ratchet. We loved it.
Yeah.
And then they just started, emulating that. And I'm just like, y'all think that's what it's like, just regular?
Right.
So, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's like... What they say, America's biggest export is media and Hollywood or what have you.
Absolutely.
So that was.
And so now you have this negative connotation about who we are, and now it could affect how we move. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. And systemic oppression, whatever.
Absolutely.
The prison industrial complex and people that are motivated to go on drills and do stupid stuff, end up in jail that are privatized, and privatized prison, they profit on that. Like it's crazy.
all systemized, all economics, which is why people who have a positive voice. And I mean, for me, that's one of the reasons why I said I'm always going to use my platform to amplify positive voices, positive messages, because I don't want to, add to a system that's already there. Like I don't do the clickbait stuff. Anything that I'm posting has a positive message behind it, because for me, I just want to give contrast.
Yeah.
Right? You get to choose. Again, abundance is your birthright. Yeah. You get to choose which direction you want, but I don't want you to think that you don't have an option. When I grew up, I could either be a drug dealer or a basketball player.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or sports, right?
Yep.
What Cam say? Sports, drugs, and entertainment.
Yeah, SDE.
You know what I'm saying? SDE. Yep. So for me, I'm like, yo, I don't want people to only think that there's only sports, drugs, and entertainment.
For sure.
Let me give you another option, which is why I said, you know what? I'm going to climb to the highest level I could in corporate America. So now, when I go back to the schools, when I go back to the neighborhoods, y'all can see me and y'all can be like, yo, he don't play sports. He's not a drug dealer. He's not an entertainer. You know what I'm saying?
I can do something else.
I can do something else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. That's the same way I grew. I grew up. You either gonna be entertainer. You're gonna do sport. My pops told me like, look, you gotta go to college. I can't pay for it. You better be good at sports. So that pushed me to be real good in, football or whatever the case may be. So I understand. Yeah. And I think that's a mission of mine as well. Like I went to college, masters, all the accolades. You know what I'm saying? But I try to portray myself in a way that's authentic. Yeah. So that people don't have to think you gotta be a certain way to garner a certain level of respect. Absolutely. Or, have a certain level of, some people try to pigeonhole you and say, oh, you got locks. You probably, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But not knowing that you're super educated, you can speak, or, you're not just.
And that's the beauty of it, though.
Pontificating, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff.
And that's the beauty of it, right? To see someone who has locks, who looks like, like what the stereotype tries to say, but like, nah, fam, I got my master's degree. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we got, you know what I mean? And so that's the beauty of it too, because you said something earlier too that I wanted to talk on. Okay. The same thing, right? Like I remember working in a bank, wearing my suits and like thinking this is where I need to look. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the people that I wanted to talk to look at me and they don't think I'm from where they from. They looking at me, they're like, yo, he gotta be from Parsippany, New Jersey. Yeah. No disrespect to Parsippany, New Jersey, but they look like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I'm from the,
from Bergen.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm from the block, you know what I mean? And so even for myself, even when I decided to become a financial educator, that's why I still wear my caps. I still, you know what I'm saying, balance it out so that, I'm not looking too stuffy. I'm still looking like somebody that's approachable, somebody that's relatable.
For sure. Yeah. Salute. One of the people I follow, they said, one of my favorite quotes is "Never took a chance, never had a chance." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you took a chance on yourself. Yeah. Can you talk to me about what that even looks like? So if I'm in between jobs, or I don't feel fulfilled in whatever I'm doing at the time. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody, right? Yeah. To kind of pick up and to, I guess, elevate to a level where they feel that they seem fit. Yeah. Kind of like how you did when you noticed your worth and you say, you know what, I'm gonna bet on myself. Yeah. What does that kind of look like? Because I know a lot of people, they feel it's like a lot of anxiety and not knowing, what's behind that, that door of uncertainty. Yeah. You can fail, you can be homeless, you can be, you know what I'm saying? Sure, can you go into that for me?
I would say do it scared, do it ugly. I think that you'll never get to a place where you're fully comfortable, if you will, with taking chances. Like it's just a part of life. I think that the mindset that people need to have is that it's always too early to quit and I can never fail.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that if you have that mindset, the only time you fail is when you quit. Yeah. The only time you fail is when you give up, which means that don't look at your setbacks as permanent, right? Yep. Never give permanent energy to temporary things. For me, I failed many times. You know what I'm saying? So when someone looks at my success, I hope people don't think it was a straight line. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the times that I quit my job, I remember it was 2010. I was about to turn 30. I threw myself a retirement party at the 40/40 Club. Yeah. And I thought, life was great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wrote my first book, which was Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom. I was on Hot 97, Black Enterprise. So I thought fame equals money. I was a homeowner at 25, so I owned my home by that time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't making enough money as an entrepreneur. My first year, I made 60 grand.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody might say, that's good, but if I'm used to a 6-figure lifestyle,
Yeah.
60 grand just ain't enough.
Yeah.
I almost went through foreclosure. Like my house, like I fell behind on my mortgage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bank tried to short sell my house. They put the sign up for sale, and I was like, grown man sitting in my driveway crying like, damn. My daughter at the time was 2 years old. I'm married. I'm like, yo, I feel like a loser. Like, bro, like what are you doing? You had this good job. You left this job to bet on yourself, and now you about to give up everything, the house, everything.
Yeah.
But again, it was that mindset that I said, I'm not gonna quit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is just a temporary step back.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going. So I would tell anybody who's in that space that you shouldn't die with regrets. You know what I'm saying? Take that chance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would say do it smart though. Like I wouldn't advise, like if you got a job right now, use your job as your employer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or your investor, right? Use your employer as your investor, right? Use that job as the investor into your business and just kind of do both until you could make enough money in your business to fully let go of it.
Pivot, yeah.
So sometimes when people think about taking a chance on themselves, they think they gotta just jump out the window and put their parachute on the way down. Fortunately for us now, technology, when I tell you the things that you could do with AI now, like I wish that AI was available 10 years ago when I was like, all right, or 15 years ago when I'm like, yo, I'm gonna quit 9 to 5.
Yeah.
If I had AI, bro, I would be at my desk working.
Yep.
Getting stuff done with AI.
Yeah.
Because AI could replace 10 employees.
10 people, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
And still make money as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
so I think, but I'm saying that to anybody right now, right? Like literally, like what it would probably take you 40 hours to do with a human, you could probably do in an hour with AI.
I hope y'all listening. All them people that, you know what I'm saying, that are against, this next frontier of tools, I think y'all need to revise it. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, it feel like somebody from the future came back and gave you a tool, like everything you wanted. You want to know how to do something here.
Here you go.
You know what I'm saying? If you complaining about that, then I don't know what.
And think about this though. Think about this. Like I now have access. Like I couldn't afford a Harvard-educated business consultant. I would have to pay them 6-7 figures to even have them consult me. Yeah. Now I have it in my fingertips. Yeah. I have ChatGPT and I have Claude. I use Claude. Claude is
I'm not too hip on Claude.
Claude CLAUDE.
Okay.
Next level.
For real?
Next level. If you need any,
I'm have to fuck.
If you need any deep research, if you need chat. Let me tell y'all, ChatGPT is like your assistant.
What you got? 4.0?
I got 4.0.
Okay.
So it's like your assistant. Anytime you have an idea and you need somebody to flesh the idea out, go to chat. Yep. Be like, yo, what do you think about this? Yeah. Help me flesh this out. Yo, this is the idea I have. Make it better. Yep. But if you want reports, if you want to get to the next level, use Claude. Right? So I use Claude, but I have them on my phone. Like I use ChatGPT to respond to text messages, to emails. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, reply to this text. But I don't want to sound too pushy. Yeah. Or I want to sound too. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And so now I got an assistant that could do all this for me.
Tone of voice, whatever you need.
All that. Yep. And then when you think about so Google has Gemini, but they just came out with this VO. Oh my bro. I'm about to do a whole movie with that, bro.
I was thinking about it. Yo, look.
I'm gonna turn one of my books into a movie, bro.
Fire. Look.
Crazy.
That's what I did too the other day. I'm waiting to get my acceptance letter. Because I don't have my Fordham EDU email, but Veo is free for students to use. So low key, I'm sorry, I'm guilty. Yeah. I enrolled to community college.
Let's go.
Anne Arundel Community College in Maryland. Yep. Just to get the email address so I can use Veo 3.
Let's go.
And just experiment.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the stuff people putting together, bro, it's like,
it's
I can
level.
see why Hollywood is just
afraid.
Yeah, it's
as they
quiet,
should be,
bro. Like
as they should be.
If you're not using these tools to your betterment, bro, you just.
And the thing about it, I look at this as like the .com boom, right?
Yeah.
When computers came out, there were people who fought against it vehemently. Like, I'm not going to computers. I'm not going to the internet to do nothing. And there were a group of people that became millionaires and billionaires because they were the first to the party.
Yep.
Then now the internet is a regular thing of our day-to-day life. Yep. So there's not truly a lot of .com billionaires. That time is gone.
It's over, yep.
And so for me, I look at this as that as well. I look at this as there are a lot of people who are afraid of it. They're like, AI is the devil. Nobody wants it. Yep. There's going to be a group of people that become multi-millionaires, billionaires, maybe trillionaires using AI. And then all of a sudden it's going to be part of our everyday life. And
regular.
People are going to miss out.
Regular.
Yeah.
All right. So look, take that knowledge nugget. Do what you want with it.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? It's there. Experiment. If you got any ideas, just throw it in there and see what happens.
Facts.
And I definitely took the note on Claude. I'm definitely gonna, when did you leave?
Yeah.
I'm on that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you focus on the mindset of a person.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's really like the root of your foundational principle is on someone's mindset. It's the mindset that allows someone to be. It's a wealthy mindset that allows somebody to be prosperous, or it's a you working at a detriment, and that's your mindset is detriment. That's what you're gonna manifest or what have you. How do you get somebody to kind of get on that type of frequency? Because I've seen your live shows or your speaking engagements. You get people up.
Yeah.
They talking, they saying things.
For sure.
How do you kind of get somebody into that level of frequency where they don't feel like it's performative?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out here that just got people doing,
for sure,
exercise or whatever because it sound good or feel good.
Sure.
Like, can you just walk me through that?
Yeah, I think for me it starts there. I think it starts with the words that we say.
Yeah.
And so for me, my goal always before I do a speaking engagement is to be able to change your mindset and to really to be able to have you say things that are empowering words, and not things that are defeating words, because it's almost like if somebody. So I don't believe poverty has anything to do with your bank account. Right, poverty has nothing to do with what you have or what you don't have. It has everything to do with your mindset.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And so those who are broke or have a poverty mindset is, like think about why somebody who wins the lottery, if you're not a millionaire, you will lose that money. Right? You're like me. I can give you $1 million, and if you're not a millionaire, you will put that money back into the hands of those who are millionaires. Think about the PPP loans, right? Think about during COVID, those people who had PPP loans and had all this money running through their hands. Now they back to square one, right? Because money doesn't change anything. Everything starts with the mind, and so for me, that's the thing. I want to make sure that I'm reconditioning your mind. I'm opening up your mind so now when I deposit these wealth nuggets, you are in a position to receive it. Yeah. Because if I give you wealth nuggets and you have a poverty mindset, what I say is not going to matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. You're going to look at me, you're going to make excuses. You're going to say, "Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's easy for you to say. Oh, you're already a millionaire, so how this?" Right? You start making these excuses. You start fighting for your limitations. Ooh. You start fighting for it. I'm telling you, I'm from where you from. Yeah. I'm telling you, I grew up in a single parent home. Yeah. I was outside. I got kicked out of school. I was one mistake away from a felony. Yeah. Like, I'm not supposed to be the first multimillionaire in my family. Like, I'm not. That's like, there is no, if you look at my story and you look at the whole statistics of how this is not even supposed to be possible. Yeah. But still, though, somebody will hear me and make excuses. Yeah. Right? Why? Because they have a poverty mindset. Yeah. They have not allowed themselves to recondition their mind so as they're receiving new information, they can see it different. It's all about perspective. And so I would tell anybody, so when I go on stage, my goal is to first let me have you recite these things that seep into your subconscious, because that's the other piece about it. Yeah. is that people don't realize that we have 3 types of minds. We have the conscious mind, right? Yep. So right now, as y'all listening to me, that's the mind that you're making logic with.
Yeah, actively.
But then you have your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is actually controlled by what you feed it. Right, which is why I don't watch the news, right? So imagine if I woke up every single day and I'm watching the news and all they're telling me is about who died, who got shot, how bad the economy is. Blah, 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 blah. So now I start to accept and receive that in my subconscious mind. And now when it's time for me to make decisions, I'm making decisions based on what it's fear-based decisions, opposed to feeding my mind, with abundance, right? Okay. I got a whole playlist on my phone that I take inspirational music, or I take inspirational speeches, and I put them under hip hop beats.
Yo, low key, I've been doing that.
Yo,
like if you see my, I can't see. Let me see if I can change it. Yo, I got my controllers over here. I got some of my beat stuff over there around. I've been making beats and I put on speeches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Now when I'm listening to a speech and the speech is telling me, yo, I'm a multi-millionaire, I can have anything I desire, and it's in a frequency that I like. I'm bopping to. Guess what? I'm feeding that into my subconscious to the point where when I go outside and somebody tries to tell me something different, that don't work. It don't even. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even. It's not even part of my. I was gonna say, I'll pause because I'm from Harlem. I was gonna say it don't penetrate, but I was like, nah, I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? So, but it doesn't seep into the subconscious because I'm feeding my mind this other, the positive stuff. What I'm saying? And so I think for me, it's all about changing that mindset and depositing new things into mindsets once the mind is open.
No, that's heavy. Yeah. So people essentially are vessels, right? And if your vessel can't contain, like if you're not in the right shape to receive certain information or receive a certain wealth mindset or even money or whatever, assets or things, you just can't contain it. Like a small cup can only carry so much water.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So in order,
then imagine if that small cup has a hole in it.
Exactly. So
as you fill in the cup with clean water.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think the expansion of that vessel, it's like that's the growing pains, that's the uncertainty, that's all the bumps and bruises of the path.
Yeah.
So that's a good insight. Real quick, I want to play something for you real quick.
Yeah.
My boy sent it to me like a day ago. You may have seen it because I know you be on the internet. So let me see if it works.
Yeah.
This is the first. I never did this on History of the Future podcast. Let me see if y'all can see it.
Yeah.
Projector. Hold up.
Hey, yes, sir.
I got gadgets on gadgets.
Yes,
Let me see what's going on. Let me just bear with me, crowd. Boom. Let me just do this. And boom. All right. So I got the cast. This is what I need you to watch. My boy sent to me. Boom. Yeah, I gotta scroll through all this now. Damn, hold up. It's right here.
Everyone wants to be a millionaire, but no one wants to repeat.
All right. Let me see, turn it up.
Yeah.
You know what millionaire is master? Boredom. Because making millions isn't a movie. It's not viral. It's not sexy. It's wants to be a millionaire, but no one wants to repeat. You know what millionaire is master? Boredom. Because making millions isn't a movie. It's not viral. It's not sexy. It's the same moves over and over until the world finally claps. But most people quit when it feels repetitive. They confuse boredom with misalignment, when in reality, it's the birthplace of mastery. You're not stuck. You're just impatient. You chase dopamine instead of discipline. You keep looking for a new strategy, new offer, new business, when the real breakthrough is in doing the same thing, but better. That's why broke people keep restarting and wealthy people keep repeating. You don't need more ideas. You need more consistency. You don't need more motivation. You need to fall in love with doing what's boring, because the game doesn't reward creativity. It rewards the ones who keep showing up longer enough after the spark is gone. Everyone wants to be a
That's a bar.
millionaire, but no one.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, man. So it's funny because if y'all go to my Instagram, I recently posted this post. I was working out at the gym, and the post said, "Motivation is the fuel, discipline is the fire," and it coincides with that. And literally, my message said, I don't know who need to hear this, but you have to keep going when you don't feel like going no more.
Yeah.
You got to keep going, right? You have to be disciplined, and I believe that because the truth of the matter, like we talk behind the scenes, like you asked me, what does your day look like?
Yeah.
My day is super repetitive.
Yeah.
Right? I hoop on certain days. I'm hoop in the morning.
Yep.
Certain days I strength train in the morning. All days I'm hustling.
Yeah.
All days I'm
every
hustling.
day,
Every
every
day.
day.
My son just turned 10. We were out on vacation 4 weeks. Guess what? I have my laptop and my phone, and I'm hustling still, right?
Yeah.
And what does that mean, though? That means that there's systems, there's things that I have to do on a consistent basis,
Lifestyle.
over and over and over
Yep.
and over again. And so I think that is 100% accurate.
Yep.
Where people think that they're trying to get to this destination. That once I become a millionaire, the pressure is off, and I could just go to the beach and kick my
Just
feet
pick
up.
Yeah.
People don't understand the pressure of the top.
Yep.
There's pressure on the top.
Yeah.
Right? Think about this, right? Think about this.
That's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have, let's just say, with all of my viral clips, right? Some people may not know me, but with all of my viral clips, there are at least 10 million people that know who Ash Cash is, right? And so there is this assumption of what I have or what I don't have or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Imagine falling on hard times, and I gotta work at Chipotle. No disrespect to nobody who work at Chipotle.
Yeah.
I'm just using that because that's the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's enough of them out here.
Right?
So,
And so imagine somebody walks up and they're like, and I'm at the desk like, yo, welcome to Chipotle.
yeah.
There's a level of pressure that once you make it, there's a sustainability that has to happen.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, so many people know me,
Yeah.
right? This is why there's wealthy people, there's famous people. Let me just say that. And I won't say wealthy people, but there's famous people that fall into depression.
Be on
There's-
drugs.
Right? They be on drugs because guess what? They get to this top and now they can't maintain it.
Yeah.
Now they can't sustain it. You get what I'm saying? And so if you broke and you never had notoriety, you never had money, you never had none of these things, the pressure, you might think, oh man, I can't wait till I get to there, but you don't even know what it takes to get there and the pressure it takes to even maintain that.
Yeah.
That's another level of pressure. Like my kids go to private school. My wife is used to a certain lifestyle. I'm used to a certain lifestyle. So imagine, you get what I'm saying? There's a pressure that it takes to make sure that you're maintaining that, and so that discipline, that boredom, that necessity to just keep doing it over and over again, I think it's spot on. It's so necessary, and I think that's the missing piece that some people don't realize. They don't realize that you're not lacking new ideas. You're lacking discipline.
Yeah.
You're lacking the discipline to keep doing the same things over and over again until you make it, and then even once you make it, keep doing those things to amplify what your success.
Yup. That's like Kobe just shooting the same fundamental jump shots
Facts.
all day.
Facts.
And I think that's super heavy too, because I think a personal thing that I kind of struggle with from time to time is, so I'm athlete and creative.
Yeah.
Like my mom's side all creatives, my dad's side all athletes. I'm a person, I'm like an innovative person. I'm gonna be the first to know what's going on in the industry. I'm probably gonna play, play with, certain new gadgets and stuff like that, or create something, or make a podcast, or do some sort of video editing technique or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just more so like I get enjoyment out of the investigation or the exploratory fulfillment of just trying something new.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that I've noticed, a little pattern I've been in. I'll do something, it'll be new, whatever, people may not understand it, but it's not really for the people. I do it and I just share it just cause.
Yep.
But then it's like a year may pass and then everybody might be doing what I was doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's a thing, and then people will be like, "Yo, you was doing that. Why you stop?"
For sure.
You know what I mean? So, and then to me, it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like a habit I gotta kind of break myself out of.
Yeah.
And especially when I see like folks like you and some of the other homies, you know, you hooper. I'm not gonna put everybody's name out there, but y'all keep y'all foot on the gas with the content.
Sure.
I don't care if it's on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok.
Yep.
Y'all have a wealth of content that you are constantly putting out, and I applaud you for doing that because sometimes I get irritated doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I like making it and then being done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, all right, I may have to look into an
AI baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, no, but
for posting and editing and stuff like that to post for me, so I don't got to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hats off to you for that.
Nah, and that's what I'm saying. It's getting easier and easier, right?
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes, I was telling you, like I'm playing with a new AI, AI tool that could clone my likeness and my voice.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's game over. Because imagine me being able to create reels, not me, right? Like my graphic designer is in Pakistan, right? So imagine me going and getting another assistant or somebody who knows how to use this app, and I just give them the idea, I give them the script, I give them the content, and now they're creating a reel that looks like me, that sounds like me, but it's actually an AI version of me that nobody else is gonna tell, and now I could try so many things, see what goes viral, leading them back to my program, and now I'm making money in my sleep.
Fire, replicate, copying yourself.
Exactly.
That's great. You're not scared of like somebody taking your likeness?
No, so someone has actually. So I posted it. Okay. There's a guy on Instagram. His name is J Trades or something like that. What he's done is he stole clips from my podcast. And then he started to change the voice, so it sounds like I'm promoting what he's doing. So people have done it. I think it's one of those situations where scammers are gonna scam. You know what I'm saying? But I'm never gonna allow because it wasn't like he took something that was. It was public, right? He took it off of YouTube, right? He didn't get it off my computer. He took it off of YouTube and was able to duplicate my likeness. And so I'm not gonna hide in the house. You get what I'm saying? And honestly, here's what people don't realize, right? And this is how I look at it. So again, everything's perspective. I want somebody to bootleg my likeness. Because guess what? You can't really be me in real life though. You get what I'm saying? And so guess what? If someone is duplicating my likeness, and it's just like going viral. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's duplicating my likeness and then now everybody's hearing this, now guess what? When the internet gets saturated, guess what people are gonna want? They're gonna want experiences. Right? Think about this right now. Think about why most of the people who are very successful right now, guess what they're doing? They're doing live events. Right? Why? Because the internet is too saturated with memes and reels and things of that nature. So now people want to feel and touch you. You know what I'm saying? And so think about that. So now if someone saturates my likeness online, now you want to connect with that was dope. I need this guy.
Fire.
Now they're gonna look for me because I'm the only one that could fulfill that. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yes, right. Think about 50 Cent. How did 50 Cent get hot? People were bootlegging his mixtapes. They were flooding the streets. So go ahead, flood the streets with my stuff. So you make the name Ash Cash a household name, the voice, the visual. So now I can now charge a premium. To get access to me. It all works out.
Crazy insight, And side note, that's like bringing us full circle. You started off selling mixtapes, and now we kind of back on the mixtape kind of concept.
Facts.
Yeah, man. I know we're kind of close on time. I want to be mindful of that. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That we probably didn't get to, or
Man, I think we covered everything. I think one thing I would say, because I know my mission has always been around financial literacy, has been about building wealth. One thing I'll say is, so my wife and I, so I've been with my wife for 21 years. And she's been my life partner. You know, I wouldn't have any of this success without her.
Yeah.
We wrote a book together called The Abundance Formula. And the Abundance Formula is 9 steps for Black families to build wealth. The one thing I do think about, as a Black man in America, I do think that there is an active war against the Black family.
For sure.
That Black family equals wealth. And just how they've been pushing up the destructive music.
Yep.
They've also been pushing up the destructive narrative. They're putting the Black woman versus the Black man.
Yeah.
They're having this interracial thing, and they're just really making it seem like there aren't people who are thriving because, again, they understand the power, right? That there's no money for them. Let me just say that there's no money for them in our unity.
Yeah.
And so there is a concerted effort to make sure that we stay separated so they could continue to make money.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting a movement, my wife and I, and that's why we decided to write the book, because we, if y'all don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is, he wrote the
Dr.
book,
Claude.
Powernomics. And actually, he's a client of mine. We were able to, he hired us to be, him and his family hired us to be able to put his Powernomics as an audio book. So people don't realize that Powernomics was never an audio book.
Okay.
We were able to use technology, right, and be because he's an elder now. He's closer to his 90s,
Yep.
And so he doesn't sound the same. And so we were able to use technology to be able to have Powernomics out as an audio book. And as we were working on that project, we saw, and we went to his house and met him. We saw how passionate he was about the mission of building Black wealth and building this Black ecosystem. And so I just felt that my wife and I are not doing enough.
Yeah.
We're a wealthy Black family, young. Yeah. We're not doing enough to push that narrative forward. And so I would just say, those of us out here who are building families, building Black wealth, let's make sure we're a little more vocal about it. But then also we give the blueprint in the book, right? The 9-step program on how to build true Black wealth and how we could come together to take our community to the next level.
That's super fire.
That's
super
right.
fire,
That's
man. Yeah. Listen, if y'all Black love, show it. Not
Facts.
the performative.
Facts.
Yo, I want to be like Pat Poose.
Yeah.
Not the just. You know what I'm saying? Just your everyday. Situation. I think is super duper powerful, and salute to you working with Dr. Claude.
Yes, sir.
Super legend.
Yeah,
legend.
it was such a blessing just to kind of be in his presence, and at his older age to still feel the passion of why he does what he does. So it was a blessing for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to just tell the people where they can follow you, where they can follow find your literature,
For sure.
Your programming.
If you go to my website, so if you go to IamAshCash.com, all of my books, all of my programs, everything is there. Or you can follow me on all social media platforms. That's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, at IamAshCash.
Salute, man. I want to thank Brother
Yes,
Ash
sir.
Cash pulling up on me, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Yes,
this
sir.
was super heavy.
Yeah.
But everybody that's tuned in, just be on the lookout. My homie, Namdi Double Lands is gonna be back in town. We're gonna be doing a seasons recap. So seasons outside DJing vibes in Old Fourth Ward. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to the homie Shay. She's also a financial advisor, what have you. They have their annual Juneteenth flag football game for the youth. I'm going to be pulling up to that, so you should see some content with that coming very soon. Celtics in 3, the Celtics lost, so I kind of toned down the Celtics in 3 podcast. Salute to the Knicks. I guess.
And what, baby?
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's looking kind of meek.
You know what I'm saying? New York is 7, B. Remember I said this, though. New York is 7, B.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see, man.
New York, we'll see.
We'll see. But, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and do all that good stuff, man. And we'll be back with the next one, man. All right, History of the Future podcast. All right, thanks, man. Yeah, bro.
Yes,
that was heavy,
yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
History of the Future.